I think the foundation of our past is that we have learned over and over again that God provides for us, that the right person, the right equipment, the knowledge, the second chance, the opportunity to learn, being in the right place at the right time. There are so many moments like that where something just came together that enabled the next stage for us or the next person for us.
Yeah, well, I have like a really unique perspective on this, right? Because it was started by my parents. I was actually present on that Thanksgiving weekend in 2004, and I remember my father bringing me into their back porch and showing me on his iMac, right? It had the turquoise color on the back, and everything, and it was see-through. And he popped in a CD, an Orthodox CD that he had gotten from somebody at church, and said, "Look, we're broadcasting this." And I just thought, like, it's so cute. Yeah, I mean, like, oh, good for you. You have a little something to do, like, in your spare time. And had no idea that it would grow to become what it is now.
So I remember when Ancient Faith Radio began in 2004, because that Thanksgiving I had been a seminarian for about 2.5 months. And so I began seminary right when Ancient Faith Radio was beginning. And I remember hearing about it and thinking at the time, this is really intriguing, this use of the internet for radio purposes. And so as my 3 years of seminary proceeded, Ancient Faith began to grow and to grow. And so in many ways for me, Ancient Faith Radio, and then of course eventually it becomes joined up with a publishing arm as well a few years later, it really kind of is the same arc as my own ministry in the priesthood. And so it's been valuable to me both as an Orthodox Christian who's looking for inspiration, looking for information, looking for deeper understanding, but also in terms of the ministry that I'm doing, speaking to people as a priest and now as a full-time professional communicator. So St. Raphael is known as a great missionary, right? He traveled everywhere in the United States. He went to Canada, he went to Mexico, but he wasn't just a big traveler. He's also evinced a readiness to adapt to the conditions that he was in order to communicate the gospel and to bring the church's presence to people.
We try at Ancient Faith to be the medium that brings what's holy and what's loved and what's needed in terms of faith and life to our listeners and our readers. So we feel like we have that shared mission with him and that he was sort of a presence, like a friendly presence for us.
So what my father always envisioned for this ministry was not just for it to be the best possible Orthodox outlet for Orthodox content. He really wanted it to be an example of excellence across the board and in every category possible. What he dreamed of was like a degree of excellence that not only had Orthodoxy not achieved up until that point, but that really most of other Christian ministries had not achieved.
I think it's important that when we look at our future, we do both, that we prepare ourselves as well as we can. We get the right people and we learn what we need to learn and we do the thinking and the organizing, and then we also remember to leave that space for God to provide. When somebody gives to Ancient Faith, they become part of our bone and our blood and our sinew and our creative power. They are giving directly to us. We have, for what we're able to produce, we have very low overhead, and our primary investments are in needed equipment and software and people.
The donations that we receive go directly back into the ministry, and they go into the content that the ministry produces. That content could be podcasts, it could be our live shows, it could be the books that we launch each year, around 18 a year at this point, which is pretty amazing. It kind of blows my mind.
I think it's a really important part of our future to remember our own mortality and to give all that we can in our moment and then hand it off in beautiful condition, hopefully, to the next person. I have the very common experience of talking to other members of our staff and hearing that from them. I love what I do. I love this. This inspires me. This gives my life meaning. This keeps me going. I love my coworkers. Sometimes they're hilarious. It's a living thing. This ministry. It's life-giving, and our experience making it is as life-giving as we hope it is for the people that we're serving. So I think that when people listen to our broadcast or our podcast, or they read our books, or they come to our events, I hope they have that sense of joining this community of people who have a big shared love and a joy and hopefully a usefulness, a fruitfulness together, and that they're welcome there, right? We're always happy. We're happy to have you listening and reading and donating and showing up at our events and, you know, sharing your ideas. The more the merrier. But I think that sense of love and joyfulness and meaningfulness is one of the really special things about this ministry.